Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Sunday Night Live. As you can see, I am by myself tonight. So, if you're just seeing this, refresh if you are not seeing anything. I am going to start a new series tonight called My Life. So, if you are new to the channel, you'll get to know a little bit about me more if you already do know me. And if you have any questions, please put the word question or um, question marks before your question, and I will get to them as best as I can. And the reason for this new series is because there's a lot of reselling shows and everything else, but we don't know what got each person into reselling or where they are in their life to get to here. For example, most of my regular viewers from over a year ago when I started the R show know that I was born with cerebral palsy. So I'm SSI, and because of being married instead of the disability, but I do want to get off there and stuff like that, which is what I'm working on. But I wanted to let people know what happened before, way before I became a seller in 2005, what my life was like. For example, when I was, I want to say 6 or 7, I lived in a area of Connecticut on the coast, and they had what you would call a flea market now, but it had like maybe 5 to 10 table people that actually were weekly there. And I was close enough where I can walk. My mom works at the restaurant right next door, so I walked over. And one of the first thing I bought as a kid was this tape. Now, I bought this tape. For the people that can't read it, it's the Poisons. Look what the Cat Dragged did. I didn't even know who Poison was. I didn't hear any of their music. I just something caught my eye and I bought it. Well, that one I got thanks to Mr. Chad Golden Finger Picker. He helped me out. Yes, Brian, it has talk dirty to me on it. Let's see. So, but Golden Finger was nice to send it to me when he did his haul in a group. He showed pictures of a whole bunch of cassettes. And he said there was poison. I'm like, what poison tape? And he told me what it was, and I said, that's the first tape I had. And he said, you want it? And he sent it to me. So I wanted. That's part of. Like I said, that was when I was 6, 7 years old. I got that. A couple years later, this band, everybody will be shocked to know, I didn't buy the tape. My parents bought me this cassette, but I don't have it. I have the CD, but I don't have the cassette. Twisted Sisters, Stay Hungry cassette. Only because they heard me like singing along with the words, uh, "I Want to Rock." So I'm sitting there singing that, and just because I like that one song, they brought me the whole cassette. Didn't listen to everything else on it, which wasn't necessary for a younger ears. And okay, they were cool, and I say were, and I'll get into that in a bit. So as a kid, I went into all these different things, and because of my disability, I was picked on as a kid and everything else for all my years. I went through Easter seals for the people that don't know, when I was born, my parents told them I would not walk, talk, or use my arms. Well, I think you can see I'm doing everything. If I'm called the walking picker, using my arms, and I'm talking to you right now. So, forget the doctors. So, I personally have issues, and you can say that's my first time foray into buying and selling. Was going to the get that cassette, and then I asked for a guitar there. I think at one time too. I don't even. So as I was growing up, yeah, most of the kids did pick on me and everything else. When I got into high school, or I should say junior senior year of high schools, my parents passed away, and everything kind of changed right in my junior year. All of a sudden, I was not getting picked on by anybody. They all wanted to protect me, whatnot. So my mom passed away of a heart attack in September. 2 months later, my dad passed away. 2 months later, up in New York, having a heart attack of his own. So basically, from the age of 17, I want to say on my own because my sister tried to be my parent. And I say tried because all of a sudden things that I was used to doing, she wouldn't let me do. I wasn't able to go try out for a basketball team, even though that was my game. I liked to play basketball when I was so, but they wouldn't let me do it. And I say they because it was my sister and her boyfriend at the time. I did rebel all through the junior year and senior year, and any of the kids in those two, one sister, and she's 5 years older than me. So I turned around and I started walking off. That's part of the reason why I'm called the walking picker. I'm used to walking a lot. When it, after my parents died, and we got forced out of our home because we weren't able to pay the bill and pay whatever agreement my parents had with the owner that we were trying to buy the house from. The school district let me stay in school, even though I had to move next town over. So I used to walk. I think it was 2 miles from our apartment to my bus stop, and then I would sit and wait for the bus. Or a friend of mine would meet me by my stop, or at the next corner, and we both just decided, okay, we're gonna walk right to school. Forget the bus. And we literally walked past the bus as it was driving up the road, and we'd wait to the driver like, "See ya." But when I was in high school, those 2 years, there were kids that were younger that tried to pick on me, and it did not work. And when I say it didn't work was because when I was a senior, there was a sophomore that liked to try getting under my skin, even though I was helping everybody, all other students in the math class. It was a basic algebra class because of my junior year, my grades, especially in my math for accounting. So my parents wanted me to go to business school, so there is a little bit of reselling set up in my mind from there because of my dad saying he did not want me to do what he did for a job. He was a carpenter and roofer and cider. He did not want me doing a manual labor. He didn't think I'd be able to quote unquote handle it, or whatever. However he thought of whatever his reasons were, he did not want me going out necessarily. If I went to a job site with him, he would let me at least pick up the shingles that he was throwing off the roof to throw in the garbage. That's the extent of what I was doing. So the Next thing is, I was also, before my parents passed away, we're getting into doing selling puppies. AKC Labrador Retriever puppies. The first batch, we actually made enough that I was able to pay for my own way to Anchorage, Alaska, to visit relatives that were on the Elmendorf Air Force Base for 6 weeks. So you can see where I was for six. That was when I was 16, and then come back, and then that's when everything else happened. And another thing that happened about that same time was, well, I should say, a couple of things that happened to me even years before that. So if you, any of your parents, if you have kids, uh, be careful. Granted, this was back in the early '80s that this happened to me. Well, at least one thing did. We were at a relative's house, and me and one of the relatives were trying to get into the car for something that we wanted, and we couldn't get the car door open. Well, we finally, and my mom's driving, my sister's in the back of the car. I get sit in front. I got to sit in front, and I'm leaning against the car seat like this, looking at my mom talking. She's going about the speed limit, going around the corner. Out the door I go, face first, front of my body going down, and I'm down on my face. By the time she stops the car, I'm already back up and trying to get in the back seat. But they picked me up, put me on the hood of the car, and called the fire department. And to answer, I do have. Well, I shouldn't say I do. This is where the sister problem that I was talking about kind of bothers me. Is my sister has all my videos from when I was in Alaska and everything. So no, I don't have anything. I don't even have pictures of my parents. I'm finding relatives of mine putting pictures of my parents on their walls and tagging me, and I'm seeing my parents. And a couple of years after that, another thing I want to tell you, parents, watch your kids, because I was hanging out with a bunch of kids on our street that I was actually friends with. They didn't pick on me. They actually, whatever, they hung out with me every once in a while. Well, we were going from the corner store to back to one of our houses, and I looked, there was no cars coming, so I decided, put my head down, I'm going to run across the street so I can get on the sidewalk and walk. Well, all of a sudden, there's the car again. From the ankle to the small of my back was black and blue. I went airborne over the car as the car was trying to turn and swerve and avoid me, and hit a tree. So, and when I went back to school, the kids wanted me. They were like, "I want to be Superman just like you." I just said, "Fine, go jump in front of a car." I wasn't going to. I did not want to sit there and let them pick on me when like they used to and wanted to. So I did fight back my own way. So yeah, I've had a lot go on even before my parents passed away. So and then let's see. I, next comment. Okay. Let's see. Well, so another thing that I did after I graduated when I was 18. 93 I graduated. I actually stayed back 1 year. I was supposed to be graduated in 92. These are actually newer glasses, Chris. I couldn't get them the frames I wanted. These went through an online site. So these were the only ones that they would let me do, and I needed the stupid, well, not stupid, but I needed the bifocals. So, no, Tina, tonight is no guest speakers. Start what I'm doing is doing a new series called My Life, and since if I'm gonna have want to inspire anybody else to come on and give their life story before they became resellers, I figured why not start with me. So that's what I'm doing, and so I'm trying to remember exactly what. Oh yeah, I was 18. I graduated high school in '93, and because of how me and my sister were fighting a lot, I went from the coast where there's barely any snow, no, not hardly bad weather except for like occasional hurricanes and stuff like that, except for lately, nowadays, but to all the way to the northwest corner of the state of Connecticut for college. Now, I did not apply for college. Our school had business classes, college classes that you're supposed to take, but because of what happened with my parents, I didn't know what to do, where I was going. Only one other thing influenced me to go to college, and that was before I went away to Alaska that year, the school board, Washington School Board, one particular teacher came to me and asked me to help another student that was down in the middle school because he also had cerebral palsy and he was getting picked on a lot by his friend, the kids in his class. So the school wanted me to go down and give him the inspiration and just do things, play with him, and be like a break brother in a roundabout way. And it was only for a year because after my parents passed away, my sister wouldn't even let me try doing that. I wanted to stay in touch with this guy. I wanted to see where he was. I wanted to, but so I decided, okay, I'll move up to away. I'm an hour and a half away for college. I'm gonna start my own new life, whatnot. Well, come to find out, a couple years later, guess who follows me up to college? The young man that I, for one whole school year, went and helped. I didn't realize it when I saw him. I wasn't sure it was him when I saw him at a restaurant at a Burger King with his parents, or else I would have went over and said something then. But we passed each other. We started walking toward each other on the sidewalk at the college, and I'm like, Joey, what? And it just shocked me that I have influenced him enough to where he wanted to come up to the same college as me. So, so I did go up because of him helping him. I wanted to help other kids like that. I wanted to help others like him, like me. So around about you can see where the R show and this is coming from. I'm trying to help you guys. It so my and yes, I'm talking with my hands apparently today. So what I did is I stayed at the school. I tried once they wanted me to do recreational. So they put me in a class where they wanted me to go around doing reports on businesses that were fun for recreational people. And I'm like, okay. I went to that class and it wasn't what I thought it would be. And I'm like, about 3 weeks into the class, the teacher and I both disagree. He turns around and said, leave the class. And I said, well, will it affect my rating? And I was on the Pell Grant. I mean, I was getting a lot of different things. What they did, and he said, No, it won't. Well, it did. They wanted me to, the next time I wanted to go to college, they said I had to pay an $80 for a class. And it's like, well, my bills are paid this much. I don't have the extra 80. How am I going to? So I there went college. But I stayed in the town. I made friends. There was a store that I used to hang out with. I had that, well, the guy was nicknamed Boney, even though he wasn't Boney. But I don't know why he was nicknamed that. That was his name from his friends. And I just, it just, everybody else started calling him that. And he ran a card slash antique shop. Uh, I'm wearing a train. Let's see, I don't know if you can see it yet. It's for the Atlantic coastline. Now, I don't know if you can see it. So when I try going hanging out with that guy, I started learning about cards. That's why when if you're in any of the groups and you see someone post a thing of cards, and everybody starts saying, "Burn them, throw them away." No, I'm not gonna be standing up, Steven. But so I got into the cards, and we used to bet at times when me and another me and another guy would come in, and all three of us would pick a pack of cards, and basically pay for it. Or in my case, because I was friends with the owner, sometimes he'd let me have a tab, and then we would play a game where whoever had the highest priced card at that pack, and it had to be the same pack for each company. So, for example, say like back then they had that's when Topps Finest was coming out. What we would do is okay, it's a $5 a pack. Each person bought, even the owner of the store would buy the pack, and then we'd open it. Whoever had the highest price card won all the cards. So you can say it was a way of gambling because you never knew what card you were going to get, and if you won, you got them all. So even if you won by $1, you can get the next highest card that was there. For example, one of the cards I actually picked out one time was a uh, reset. It was a insert of a Michael Jordan card that at the time was $90, and they didn't have anything close. So I got to take all the cards, and then I would take them home. And what eventually I would end up doing, and it may have been stupid, but if I had enough, like if that one card, if my bill that to the owner of the card shop was the $90, I'd do an even trade. Here's my payment, and then he would do whatever if he made money, he made money. So, and he would start having me help him at the store to the point where people thought I was part of the furniture. I was there so often, or some people actually thought I worked there. And I said, no, I'm just a hanger on, whatever you want to call it. I said, well, I answered questions for him, but to the point where the owner, the son, didn't like to get into what he was doing. The son would like rather get into the metal or all this other teen stuff. So he would have me come around the corner, say, Chris, start looking up these cards. Or go answer the phone. I'm like, it's not my business. And I don't work here. Answer the phone. Okay. I answered it. And then that's how I got the nickname Junior. At least for there. Because of my high voice and the way I answered the phone, they said I sounded like somebody from a movie. I don't know. I didn't want to ask, but it kind of stuck. Even the kids that started calling me, it's like, oh, okay, there's one new nickname. So that's why, and so then I moved from Connecticut up to Springfield, Massachusetts. Now you all got all excited, or not necessarily excited, but you were like, "Oh wow," and everything else when I told you about my little accidents when I was younger. I went up to meet people. I was like, I gotta get out of the area for a little bit. I was only going to go for a weekend. Well, I ended up staying for about 8 months. But what happened within the first couple times I was there, I did have a gun pulled on me because of where I was staying. Not because of necessarily who I was, but where I was staying was not, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, let's just put it, the area of Springfield I was in. If you were a white guy, you were either a buyer or a seller. That's all I'm going to say. And you probably guess what I'm talking about. Well, I was neither, but because of where I was staying, I they accepted me. No, Brian, it's not the ghetto, but it was. Let's put. I was the area the where I was living was basically a gang house. I didn't know that at the time, but after the I realized that after the fact. And the person that pulled the gun on me said, "What are you going to do now?" And I've said this to my wife and other people at other times when they said, "Well, it's going to be too dangerous or something's going to happen." I said, "If it's my time, it's my time." I was right at him when I said that, and he said, "I respect that." And put the gun away. Joni, let's put it this way. Since I'm sure you kind of know Springfield area, and I don't know how much you know of it. If I said the state street I lived on, then people would know basically that it's the Latin King area. That was the group, the gang that I was living with. So to say that uh, my life was perfect, heck to the no. So eventually I got away from there and I moved to, I think I moved, for a little bit, I lived in Palmer, Massachusetts. Then I moved got to Springfield in another part of town. And then a relative of mine said, "We want you to come to our wedding." No, that's not their color in the Springfield, uh, Brian. They're black and yellow. And I know they made sure I had a black and yellow jacket when they finally got me a jacket for the winter time. They're like, "This is a perfect fit," and I knew then. And yes, I got stopped one time by the police. Once I left their house one time when I went to go to the store for them, or for myself actually. And I had a cold then, and the cops stopped me. And they went digging into my pockets, pulling out all my tissues, and then they let me go. So yeah, I got there as soon as I could. And I used to walk from there up to Chicopee, Mass, to visit somebody. And still, as you can see, there's a theme of me walking. But when I moved when I went to visit my relatives for their wedding, they convinced me to stay in New York. No, not New York City, up in Dutchess County. So I did. And these relatives weren't necessarily the best either for me, but I had I started living where there's up in Springfield. I always have close to family, even though, like I said, there's times that I wonder if they really cared about me either. But so yes, I eventually when I stayed there after their wedding, they got me to move into a rooming house, and I'd walk from there to my aunt's house. Let's see, that's a good 2 miles, to the point where sometimes people would actually pick me up and be like, "You going to your aunt's house?" Yep. Drop me off part of the way. Hey, Chad, you missed it, Chad. I've talked about you. About you giving me this poison tape. Steven, yeah, I did. When my parents, I was going through the driver's ed school when and my parents passed away, and the teacher said, because I wasn't going to be able to pay anymore, he said, go for your license. Well, I went, and somebody from a different state, not different state, different part of the state, was at the DMV, and he said he would have failed me. So right then, I stopped trying to get my license. I figured if I could have my license, he would have wanted me to have it. So I didn't get it, and then hence just kept walking. But when I was living in New York, I used to do the yard sale stuff, go around looking for things with my aunt. I didn't get into reselling then either. I was more into bowling, as what some of you know. I used to walk about 2.5 miles to the bowling alley, bowl 3 to 6 games a night, depending on what night it was. And then I'd walk. In most cases, I'd walk home. No, I did not lug my bowling balls behind me or on me or anything. They were at least in the bowling alley. I was always. It wasn't that where I had to carry everything every time. So I really got into the bowling scene there. Like I said, bowled, well, basically 5 nights a week. If you count Friday nights, I bowled double shift, which was 6:30, and then they had a 9:30 shift. So, and I loved the 9:30 shift. So that's when I met the wife. They finally got. I shouldn't say they finally, but the owner of the bowling alley saw me at the mall because the mall started getting a computer, and I didn't have a computer at home. He saw that I was there typing away, doing all this different stuff on their computers. Right before bowling, it's like I wouldn't walk home. I watched the ball anytime from the mall. I'd catch the bus. It was only $1 to take the bus. But he would see me there, and eventually I was in for a Christmas present. A whole bunch of he and one other bowler got me a computer, a monitor, and all that, and I hooked it up at the where I was living. Well, eventually I met through the wife online, and she moved all the way from Florida to New York to be with me within 4 months. We met in May, and I think she came up in October. And then a year later, we were married. So when I was in New York, besides the bowling, I was still into doing the cards, and when she saw what I was into, I actually got into a free card show. It didn't cost anything for a card show license. So I eventually found out where to go. I paid for a table. Excuse me, it was like $10, and it went for, I don't know, however long. It's like I do trades and stuff like that. This November, it will be 11 years that we were married. This May will actually be 12 years that we were together. Just so now, so you can answer that question. So That got me. There was a little bit of reselling because I did trading and stuff like that with the cards. And she already had an eBay account or an account. So I forgot how we got into eBay, and then it went from there. And I actually traded one of the cards that I traded. I sold on eBay, and I made like $35 on it. It was a rookie card of Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Carmelo Anthony, all on one card that I sold. And I traded, I think it was a $14 cards for it at the card shop. So, yep. So then that's how my selling life began in 2005. So, and then eventually we moved out here, and I got more serious when I got out here with doing the shows and trying to do. But now, as everybody knows, she went surgery. I was sick this past week, so yeah, life still keeping me from doing exactly what I want. But I didn't have it in my head to be a reseller originally anyway. I used to go when I used to walk around. I'd pick things up and just give people what like if I found a pack of cigarettes. However, even though I knew my parents died because of smoking, and I tried telling my friends, don't smoke, don't smoke. They didn't listen. So I figured, boom, I just gave them the pack. And they're like, where'd you get this from? I said, side of the road. And they laughed at me. And I'm like, what? Now I started, originally I was like you, like a lot of people out here that don't have videos. I was one of the ones that was trying to learn. I watched various people, Dallas Moore, uh, a whole bunch of different people. So, and it just happened that I started asking a certain person. I asked Sean Cool Toes if he wanted to do a show with me, and there. Well, I started with doing right 3 or 4 videos of my hauls first, and then he said sure, and then the yard show was started. And I think that was over a year. Well, I know it was over a year ago. Feels like it's been 2 years. And the yard show used to be at this time, and I changed it over to Wednesday nights in November. So, so I hope what I'm doing is inspired maybe somebody to actually want to come on, give their own life story before they became resellers. So that way people know we're not all cookie cutter reseller from the get go. Some people might have had other jobs that they lost, that they didn't have, or they didn't have a job. They just picked up something and it happened to make money from selling it, and that clicked in their head, and here we are. But we all come from the same cookie cutter situations, so it's good to, I feel, to know where certain people come from. Especially it helps people know who you are and may give them more reason to believe what you say. And I already know that at least 2 people that said they would come on as a guest already. One was my second co-host, Chris Nice, the Northeast Picker, said when he's feeling a little better, he'll come on and do the show. And then have uh, Lisa, who was in the chat here, Minute State Picker. Lisa B, who was actually on the Irish show originally at one time, said she'll come on and do it as well. So there's at least 2, and I will not be having a show next Sunday since it is Easter Sunday. So that's another reason why I figured I would do this week. I would start the series, and if I have to tell more about my story, just so I can keep it going, I'll have to figure out what else I can tell you guys that you don't already know. And I don't want it to be like another R show. I don't necessarily have to have it be business related. I want people to get to know everybody. So, if you have any other questions that you want to ask that prior to 2005, I'm all ears. And Gail, you say you won't consider yourself successful until you can leave your current job. Why not say you're successful now? As long as you're making money selling, you're successful. You're not having to give up. You don't have to say, as long as you're doing what you can, there you go. Brian, you asked what made us move to Pueblo? Money. Where we lived in New York, we were renting, and this is going to sound strange to everybody, renting a 1.5 bedroom apartment. Yeah, you say half? Yeah, somebody made a closet into a bedroom. And what they did, so her daughter, I said her daughter now, but it is, she is my daughter. When she was the one, I give her credit. I wasn't necessarily thinking about marriage yet. I wanted to wait to see how we got along. But after the first year of her being there with us, well, she said 6 months because she came in about 6 months to 9 months after her mom. She said, came up to me while I was born. She's like, "When are you gonna marry my mom?" And now she was 13, 14 at the time, and I said, so right then and there, I'm like, well, let's just see what happens. And we both had a cell phone. I whipped it up. She didn't know what was going on. I texted her, "Will you marry me?" She dropped her phone when she saw the text. So we were paying for a 1.5 bedroom, $900 a month. Plus, every couple of months we had to pay $200 toward oil to heat the place. So once we couldn't afford that, we started looking for a place to move to, and the wife found this place. And yeah, I want to move out of here now, but we're not gonna go. It's not gonna happen for if it happens, it's not gonna be for a while. So my in-laws helped us get here, and and that was where we got here in 2008, and I've been here since. And Jeremy, she does help me when she can. She takes pictures. If I can't, she crops them and stuff like that. Sometimes she'll double check my listings and re-edit some, or I re-edit hers. It's more like we're a 50-50 uh, work. I used to go a lot, Gail. I haven't been because I have a lot of I items in my bedroom right in front of me. There's a spare bedroom. We have a whole bunch of stuff. We have uh, I've said this in private. Just about every room has products in it. But because of my disability and what's her going through her surgery and her pains, we can't necessarily list everything that we want to when we want to. I've wanted to just, well, I shouldn't say I want to do. She's wanted to just throw things on a table outside and have a yard sale. Well, we don't have the tables to do the yard sale. You need money to do that. So everything that we want to do, we have to make the money, but I can't rush her to do something when her body's telling her you can't do this, especially at this time. So I do it when I do go out, Gail. Just to answer your question, yeah, hence the walk and picker. I will walk to the thrift stores. I will walk to yard sales. Right now, Chris, I have 91 items on eBay. So, and I have used Facebook to get stuff. I've sold stuff on Facebook. So it's not like we don't just list. She listed the coastal train set to the other day for 45 locally. I don't know if she's getting any. I don't know if she's getting any hits on it, but she said it was going from 55 to 65 with free shipping on eBay, and she figures it's going to cost almost. Well, she says 100, but to pack it and make sure it goes, because as Chad can attest to, and I think Chris can attest to when he sees this, Chris Nice, when we pack, we don't let anything go wrong with what we're packing out for our customers. We've sent Chad some artwork that he liked when we showed him pictures of it. And I have so we did so at the local flea market until they screwed us over. I don't know how Neil. I don't actually have a best that I like to list. In the other room, I still have big dog shirts to list. I have bandanas to list. I have more cups to list. I have lots of things to go do on the list that I don't necessarily have anything that I consider the best. I took pictures just the other week before I got sick of some more of our patterns that I wanted to list up. But I might put it in one of my local, not local, but one of my other groups that is for selling for patterns. I haven't decided yet exactly. I want to make sure the pictures are good enough. No, I have not bowled it, Jeremy, in about, wow, 4 or 5 years. And when I bowl, I didn't usually bowl for fun. If I went to bowl, it was for the leagues. I wouldn't necessarily practice it. Oh, California, I know it's not making me money sitting around. But like I said, when my wife is not able to, is only able to, literally, she's gotten the doctor's note saying she cannot work because she can only stand for 5 minutes. She can only sit for 5 minutes, 0 to 5 minutes before her back will start acting up, or her legs, or whatever else is the issue. So for me to say, okay, well, you got to work anyway. I don't care what the doctor says. I'd rather have her trying to get better than me sitting there saying, put more pressure on her to put her back in the hospital under more knives, under for more surgeries. So we're doing what we can when we can. So yeah, I understand that that might turn some of the viewers off, saying, "Well, if he's not getting all this listing done and all this work that he's saying we should do, why should we listen to him? If you don't want to, don't." I'm not. I'm just telling you my story. Why I'm what gave you the reason why I'm here to help in the groups on the YouTube. Oh, I do. We do this, California. We do it together. That's the thing. Like I said, we're 50-50 because of my disability. I can't necessarily take pictures with the phone or a regular camera because most of the cameras are on the right side. I'm left-handed because of my disability. So it's hard for me to do too many things with my right hand. So she was taking pictures when we had a camera. When we got the phone, I tried it and I was either moving or the pictures were coming out too blurry. She got me a remote controlled Bluetooth for the phone. So that's what I used the last time trying to do. No, I tried doing a different picture with it. So it's not necessarily the best, but she's tried to help me to help her and help the business by getting things that we can use. But that way I couldn't do Saturday. I didn't want to necessarily do the S&L part of it because of I was warned that I might get in trouble for the trademark of SNL because Saturday Night Live has their own channel on here, so I'm not risking it. Hence the Sunday Night Live. And it used to be the Sunday Night Live with the Picker Boys when I did have my co-host Northeast Picker. But I figured I'll keep the Sunday Night Live because everybody likes that name, and I'll just do a new series called My Life. And if anybody wants to come on, you know where to get a hold of me, and say you want to come on and give a story, let people know who you are and everything else. If I do ask anybody, it'll be a one-time ask, and if not, you say no. That's it. I'm not gonna beg and fight to get anybody on the show anymore. Cherry vintage. When we did try. She wanted to. She's gotten try fights that have actually broke on us, on her, not even me. The last one she got is a bendable one, and when I tried doing it, I didn't have the remote at the time, and I just touched the phone to do it. It started the legs started to bend a little bit, so the picture didn't come out right. It's like, and Neil, to answer your question, no, the daughter cannot help because when we moved out from New York to here, she was going into her senior year of high school, and she decided to stay back in New York and go to school. And we didn't want to bring her because she only had 1 year left. We wanted to bring her, but we didn't want to force it. So she had a good friend in the town that the mom said that she could stay with them until she graduated high school because she was also the daughter's pastor for their Salvation Army church. So we figured they're going to the same church. They've been friends for this since she moved to town. We can trust them. Well, I won't go into that, but so right now she's in New Jersey. She stayed back and she's now in New Jersey and stuff like that. So no, she cannot help. And she didn't really get into it when we were doing it back in New York either. Anyway, she wanted to do her own thing. Even though she would go out once in a while thrifting with us, like when we had a car, we'd go out to the yard sales and stuff like that. But she wasn't into it. She wasn't seeing us making the money. So what kid's really going to get into what their parents are doing if they're not seeing the money being made? So can't blame her, but I wanted to teach her so she can learn, but she wasn't into it. So, oh, Denise, I'm sorry you missed about the first hour of the show. So, are there any other questions for me prior to beginning into selling? And hopefully, you are liking this new format, and I'm trying. And no, Brian, I'm not Chad and Dusty. I'm not gonna sit here for another 4 hours. And I'm not Sean. I'm not gonna sit here for 8. So I don't know if anybody's interested in doing an after show. So I don't know if I'm gonna have one. But like I said, any more questions, please ask. Because if I can't answer the how Easter, I will be back for that. We're not having that show that week. But the third I'll be back. I don't know if I'm gonna have a guest that week or not. If anybody's interested, it's okay, Denise. You'll just have to rewind and learn about me the hard way by watching it after. So, Denise, just to let you know, I got into a lot about my history of when I was 18 and all that. Well, I see Kay says she's camera shy. And let's see. Yeah, Coco's definitely camera and mic shy. So I do hope that Coco says I'm an inspiration. I do hope in a roundabout way I do inspire somebody to say, okay, I want to put myself out, not necessarily put myself out there, but if you're already out there, let people know more about your history, not necessarily your reselling history. If you've been reselling since you were 18, that's a different story. You can say, I got it from my parents or whatever. Give the people, because now I'm not sure how many of you will say, okay, I'm going to listen to Chris about reselling because he's not doing it all the time. Terry mentions it's easy to do a hangout. All you gotta do is click where it says events, where actually live stream, and then it says events, and then you click there. So let's see. Okay, says her story is simple. Homeschooling mom of one might as well help bring in some money. Plus, all the research ties into homeschooling. Well, I'm glad you're here, Cherry Vintage, and I know you're one of the supporters of many shows. So, any more? Anybody else have a question, or are you interested in doing an after show? I may not be staying for too long if I do one, but if you're interested, let me know. I know Coco would pop in. She might be eating when she pops in, but she'll pop in. And for the people that are watching, I'm seeing it says 31. Um, let me just so everybody knows. Next this Wednesday on the other show, we are going to be talking with Nellie, who is in the audience tonight. That is, um, she works with the Post office. Yes, the Harley woman. I'm thinking about doing an after show. Hey Joe, it's okay. I guess you'll just have to pull what Denise is gonna have to do. You got to watch the replay. Because I really, like I said, I really go into detail on my life history, as Coco and a lot of the others can attest to you, Joe. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully I inspire others to join me on the show and give their life story. That's why it's going to be called My Life, and I will put the person's name if there's going to be a guest. So that way, if anybody really wants to show, come on, let me know. You know where to get a hold of me on Facebook. You know where my group is. Well, I should say, well, yeah, if you don't know, I have a group called the National Resource Advice Group, eBay, Amazon. I am an admin of the Reseller Society. I am an admin of the Golden Finger Picker Group. Let's see, how many other admin? Oh, I also have a local group that I'm in. I started for the Pueblo area. If you're watching this in your Colorado area, I started for an eBay group. I wanted to see if I might get to find people that would want to go out thrifting, want to go out and start doing these things. I know a lot of people like to go out when Jason or they like when they're going to meet Chad. They like to go out and they want to go out and learn. So I'm hoping, hopefully that will make it people to come out and do that. So, well, seeing there's no more questions and a lot of people thanking me for the show, you're all welcome. I'm glad I got 30 my usual watchers coming in, and like I said, if you're interested in coming on and being a guest on the My Life series, let me know and we'll work you into a schedule. With all that being said, like I said, I want to thank everybody that is watching. I see 34. If you want to hit the like button, go ahead. If you didn't like it, after the fact, after I share it, uh, after it loads up, if you didn't like it, give me a reason why. Let me know how I can make things better that you want to learn from. What can we do? What well, I say we. How can we get you to what you want to learn? If this isn't show for isn't for you, then watch the other show only. But as long as you're watching something and you're learning, it will definitely let you know what's going on. And as I always say, I may not be the smartest one on this YouTube stuff or reselling stuff, but I will find a person to talk about. Like I said, this Wednesday, Nellie's gonna be on with how to make it easier for the postal workers and what we can do to make sure we don't get into a tiff over receipts and all that. So, thanks everybody for watching, and I will post the after show link in the comments and then also in the groups. Bye.